Dynasty first pick.
Thunderstruck! Thunderstruck! Yeah, Thunderstruck!
Welcome into Fantasy Rant Podcast. I am Dan Baker, accompanied by my fellow co-hosts, Evan Gooding, Mason Beck. We also got Nolan here from StadiumRant today, and our special guest, Commissioner Cooper. You may
What's
know
up,
him
bro?
from the- Hey.
Can I just say something real quick, man? Wow, I'm ready to run through a tunnel right now. I got the Thunderstruck music going. Let's go, football. I love it.
That's what we like to hear, man. Yes, you guys may know him from Fantasy Sports Corporation YouTube channel, where he hosts the TSS Fantasy Summer Tour podcast, or on Twitter as Commissioner Cooper, and TSS Fantasy right here. So, Jason Cooper, welcome to the show. We love having you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Super excited to be in your dojo, if you will. And our summer tour is kicking off. We're actually finishing up. We got the NFC West this week, and then AFC West next week. After that, we do our summer school where we bring in guests, aka you guys, maybe, if you guys want, of course. We do what you're doing now. Basically, we'll talk strategy first on a Monday about whatever it may be. We'll draft during the week, and on Friday, we'll grade the team. So that's kind of how we build up our summer stuff. So, yeah, absolutely, man. Pleasure to be in here, though.
Awesome, man. Yes, and if you guys want, we end the episodes with a fun fact. If you guys are so brave to take a crack at it. The question last week was, which NFL team has never had a 4,000-yard passer?
Do we wait to the end to guess, or are we guessing now?
We guess now because we asked last episode. We'll have another fun one at the end of this episode. Any guesses, Nolan or Coop?
I'm going to say, after going through, I'm sitting here trying to remember all the stuff, all the QBs I've seen and these teams I've done. I'm going to go Cleveland Browns.
That hurts my heart as a Browns fan. I don't blame you for guessing our team. That is not the answer. Nolan, do you have a guess before I reveal it?
So never had a 4,000-yard passer.
History of the team. Never had a 4,000-yard passer.
I'm going to go Jaguars.
That's also a great guess. The answer is the Chicago Bears. Never had a 4,000-yard passer. We'll see if maybe the addition of DJ Moore can change that up. But with how much they run the ball, I don't see that coming true soon.
Wow.
All right. So we got a fun show lined up for y'all today. We got some NFL news, a quick keep, trade, cut segment, and then we'll dive into our mock draft. But before we do that, I'd like to say thank you to everyone tuning in to this StadiumRant original. If you like our content, you should subscribe to our free newsletter, which includes exclusive interviews, articles of the week, and you can sign up at StadiumRant.com. All right, Mason, without further ado, what you got for the news?
All right, so our first piece of news today is going to be the biggest one of the week. It's going to be the DeAndre Hopkins news. He signed a two-year deal. The 26 million guaranteed up to 32 with the Titans. He got added to a team that we've seen traditionally rely off running game, and they have a pretty shaky quarterback situation. So, how do we see this affect his value, and how do we also see him going to the Titans affect people like Treylon and Okonkwo's value?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an above-average landing spot for Hopkins. I don't think it's great. Obviously, we know that he could have gone to a couple powerhouses if he was willing to take less money. Seemed like after that interview where he named Mahomes, Josh Allen, just to name a few, seemed like he was going to take a pay cut and be willing to join a contender. After this contract, doesn't seem so much like it anymore. I do think this really helps the Titans a ton, but for Hopkins, this is just an above-average landing spot in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I definitely think that it opens up the field more for guys like Treylon and Okonkwo, but I think it hurts them both short term. I do believe in both those guys long term, though. Bill and Coop, what do you guys think?
Oh, well, I definitely.
Well,
Here, you go ahead. You're the I'm gonna guess.
Sorry.
I need to hear from you. You go ahead.
My bad. All right. So anyway, long story short, as a fan of America's team, the Miami Dolphins, I've seen a lot of Ryan Tannehill over the years. And I got to tell you, man, Ryan Tannehill at times can be money. So if they're starting a season with Ryan, and they're believing in him, obviously, he can hook up. You know, he did decent with Devontae Parker. He is okay with the deep ball. So DeAndre Hopkins, it's an okay situation. As far as Treylon Burks, obviously everyone was high on Treylon Burks, thinking mass volume for this Titans receiver, that with him and Chig, there's really no one else. But now you add, of course, D-Hop to the mix. So what does that do? Obviously brings down those targets, but it could make those targets more quality than the quantity. So I still believe in Treylon, as Evan mentioned a minute ago, long term, and even this year, still believe in him. Just not sure it was going to be that huge volume that we were expecting, of course. And Chig, in the same respect, kind of goes down a little bit as far as value goes this season. Take it away, Nolan.
You guys are nailing this perfectly. I definitely think you're going to see a lot more spreading of the wealth in this Titans offense, and that's probably what they were going for by going out and getting DeAndre Hopkins. All they've been known for lately is handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. Well, now you have somebody to throw the ball to, and you just happen to kind of piss him off at the same time. So, I mean, there's a little bit of hurt and good stuff, but you get a high-quality receiver, somebody else for Tannehill to throw to besides Treylon. Losing A.J. Brown, you lose a high-quality guy, now they add a new one. So I think they made a good move here.
And I mean, when we look at all of his real destinations of where he could have gone besides there, I mean, Titans aren't the best offense, passing offense wise, at least. But really, where else was he going to go? Patriots, who do you really think the Patriots are a better spot for him fantasy wise than the Titans? No,
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. As a Hopkins dynasty manager, I was pretty happy with this. Again, just above average spot, but Tannehill did a good job of supporting A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and Jonnu Smith a few years back. And I kind of see them in a similar type of skill set, just in terms of Hopkins being a dominant X. Treylon Burks is a highly drafted but kind of unproven first-round pick, just like Corey Davis was. And then Okonkwo, uber athletic tight end. I think Jonnu Smith still doesn't get his credit for being as athletic as he is. Obviously, he's gone pretty downhill in the past few years. Now he's backing up Kyle Pitts, but I think it's a pretty comparable situation, and that it'll end up playing out pretty well for all parties.
And Jonnu Smith can be as athletic as he'd like, but he's got to catch the football. That's the very important.
That's the important part. That helps in fantasy. All right.
For the next piece of news, we're going to switch it up to the running back situation that's been going on, the running back market. Joe Mixon had a lot of uncertainty on whether he'd even be on the Bengals next year. They were trying to figure out a contract situation or just even talk about even cutting him. But he took a pay cut this year. And I would assume that's after how bad the market has been. He saw that and realized he should just take that. But I mean, it means we got him on the Bengals for at least for one more year. He's not a free agent until after 2025. So I mean, could be 2 years with the Bengals again. But really, I think this boosts him up in my value on charts at least. But how do you think this kills guys like Chase Brown or Travion Williams?
Yeah, I think this is the best possible Joe Mixon news you could hear if you have him. I think I'd be comfortable now drafting him in a startup at his original ADP of 6th, 7th round. But if I'm going, that's only if I'm going win now. I do expect his ADP to rise though to the 4th or 5th round, and that's a little too rich for me still for him.
Yeah, I'm still seeing him go at the 3-4 turn in redraft right now, which I'm more than happy to snag him at, especially with the wide receivers going off the board earlier than ever. I just took a look at Fantasy Pros ADP, and according to them, there's 8 wide receivers with first-round pedigree. So if you're going wide receiver early, I think Mixon's a great late round target, especially in redraft.
I'm okay with even taking him a little early, quite frankly. I'm comfortable with that. Listen, don't forget, no Samjay Perine. You got nobody behind him right now. So it's all Joe Mixon and an offense that's, of course, predicated by the pass. So, of course, teams are going to, scheme for that. So leaves a lot of open lanes for Joe Mixon. I think I'm good taking him early because people are slipping on him right now for sure.
Love Samjay Perine. Stealing that nickname for him. That's great.
I would definitely go with him as a late flex pickup, maybe. Nothing more. I would not take him as a starter unless you absolutely destroy your draft board and you draft horribly early on, and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is all I got left. If that's what you have to do, take him. But if not, if you can sit back and wait a little bit, I think he'd be a pretty good flex option. Maybe even stash him away on the bench if you have a good roster. Stash him away for a bye week. Maybe get a good outing out of him. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, stash him away if you can.
Yeah, I mean, he did have 60 receptions last season, and Samaje Perine was a big part of the passing game. So even if Mixon is inefficient again, volume is king. So I do see him still being a solid ad personally. But, to each their own.
Keep it on the topic of running backs. We're going to be going to news about Saquon and Josh Jacobs. To reach the deadline to reach a contract for franchise tags was Monday, I believe, and Saquon and Josh Jacobs both failed to reach a deal with their teams. Pretty much what this means is that they can miss all of training camp without being fined, no penalty. They have no pressure to go, but they would start getting fined if they decided to skip out on games or something like that. Do you guys really see them holding out? I personally don't see them missing any games, but I want to see what you guys think, kind of that situation.
If I'm going to chime in here, I'll just say that the tweet that came out by Derrick Henry to me kind of like speaks a little volume to that, because he, basically, I forgot that. I apologize, I don't have the exact quote on me, but he makes reference to running backs trying to get their money right now, and it's not happening, and he doesn't understand why, is basically what he's saying. Could Josh Jacobs in particular make a stance here? Possibly. He's been talking that noise. I don't know if he will or not. Money talks, BS walks, period. So, do they just play, or do they hold this, hey, I'm not coming in till I get fined a couple times, and I'm like, all right, that's enough, I'm coming in. I don't really know, what's in their hearts, but I think that tweet by Derrick Henry might speak a little bit to that. One thing real quick, I just want to say, Nolan, Joe Mixon finished 13th last year, by the way. No backup right now. I don't know how you're talking about, flex maybe. Anyway, let's move on, my bad.
I did see that tweet though. I saw that tweet by Derek. It was something like, might as well like eliminate the RB position. Like,
right. There you go. Like yes.
I thought that was a little crazy, but I mean, it could be like signs of like who knows, an uprising. Who knows what's happening? But I think that's what it's going to take for these GMs to really pull some money out of their pockets for these contracts.
I definitely think Saquon's going to be a little bit closer on the deal than Josh Jacobs might be in Las Vegas. Just based on what I had seen, Saquon was about $1 to $2 million off from what the Giants originally offered him. So, I mean, that should be a little more reassuring than Josh Jacobs, who apparently was waiting in the parking lot in his car with Max Crosby and didn't get a phone call. That would scare me if I'm Raiders fans. But as far as Saquon goes, again, I think they're right there. They just got to find the right dollar amount, and I wouldn't be worried. I think they get that done by camp even. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't be too worried about it in the long run. I mean, they are worried about making money, but if they hold out an entire season and are that much older now, they're losing money in the long run. So take your deal. Hopefully you don't get injured. If you do, someone will still value you. Just hopefully it's nothing catastrophic.
Dan just said, "Shut up and play." Just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, 10 mil plus guaranteed ain't too bad. I take that, but I'm not a.
I'll take a quarter of
generational
that.
athlete.
I get where Eckler's coming from, though. He just getting paid less than backup wide receivers, though.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
He's
agree.
talking about that
No,
too.
the position is devalued in the NFL right now. So Derrick Henry's tweet, as crazy it might sound, he's kind of spot on with it too. Now, at times, with the running back position getting out of hand a little bit, like you remember back, in the 90s, all these big contracts were coming out. So maybe there's something to that, maybe a little reverb from all that, big money thrown at running backs. And you see right now the longevity has become the issue for owners. So to me, that's kind of like where they're at. Like I said, could Josh Jacobs make a stand? Sure. But, again, money talks. We'll see when that starts hitting that paycheck, when it becomes it or not. So.
All right. What else we got, Mason?
Oh, all right. And so the next one, we're going to be talking about the GOAT, of course, Baker Mayfield. So we had news coming from a former NFL GM, Rick Spielman, that Baker is looking to sign a long-term deal with the Bucs. I haven't personally seen much about the Bucs side saying anything about this, but I mean, if that's Baker's plan, maybe he could be in turn for a rebound season. That's what he's really pushing for. Trying to bounce back. And hey, if he does, do you guys see any chance that he's there? I mean, after the season, and would it really even have any value at all, honestly?
Mason, you must woke up feeling dangerous. I got to tell you, because the bottom line is he actually does have a shot, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans, Chris Scott, he's got weapons here. I mean, it's not that difficult. He's got moxie to him, so he's got good leadership skills, at least in a locker room anyway. He can get a team behind him. Excuse me. So the lack of the running game might hurt him a bit. But, if the offensive line holds up, nice weapons, he could make a little name for himself this season, possibly.
Hey, Tom Brady went 8-9 during the regular season. I don't think Baker can do better.
He also got sacked like 24 times last year, so he's got one of the best O lines to play behind. Now Baker's playing behind that O line. I see this as I also agree with you. I gotta say, because those weapons that you listed off, those are the best weapons he's also had. So if this is his best possible chance at a rebound, I would say.
No, he definitely has the best weapons. I've watched too much Baker, and his double pumps it's not even a full pump fake. He's not selling anybody. He's just unsure. And he's going to do that until he gets sacked. So I don't think it's the best offensive line. The Browns definitely had a pretty elite offensive line in his time there. The Bucs definitely got a lot of guys coming back from injury, so it should be a big improvement from where they were last year. But Tom Brady was forced to have one of the quickest releases in the game and in his career, and he already had a very quick snap to throw timing. So I just don't see this going well enough for Baker to hold down a long-term contract. And the thing I will say, though, is I think that he can play well enough to the point where the Bucs don't have an early pick to draft a rookie quarterback. So they might have to do that through free agency. And last I looked, they did not enter the season in with a friendly salary cap. So that might be tough for them. He might have bought himself maybe a second year with the team, but I don't see anything longer than maybe another year, a 1-year extension. All right. Is that the end of the news, Mason?
I got one more piece. It's not a huge one. It's not really a surprising one. Everyone was kind of expected. It's about Evan Ingram turning his franchise tag to a 3-year deal. That's worth $24 million guaranteed. That could go up to $41 million. I mean, obviously, this was kind of an expected thing that he would get more than the 1-year franchise tag. But looking at his contract, it looks like he's for sure going to be there for 2 years. Jaguars have an out in the 3rd year. But, I mean, at least adding that for sure, 1 more year with Trevor Lawrence in his, up and rising years, I think that adds value.
Yeah. I don't see him still matching the numbers that he put up last year with the addition of Ridley, though. I can't see it right now.
As a Cowboys fan that had to deal with him in New York for a few years, he's definitely worth these more small term deals. I think he's perfect for that role, especially on like you just said, Evan, a team that is now adding in Calvin Ridley. If they would have given him a big deal, then maybe you don't need Calvin Ridley, but that changes everything. So bring him in, pay him good money for a couple of years, see where he is after 2 years, and then push comes to shove, ship him off, or you can trade him, get a draft pick out of him or something like that, and see where it goes. So I think financially it makes perfect sense for somebody who has been able to show he can perform when he needs to do so.
Nolan just executed, excuse me, the perfect response to this bit of news, because that's exactly right. Couple years for Evan. He's definitely earned it. Let's see how he does, and then re-sign him if he does any better. Totally agree.
Yeah, 100%. We know Doug Peterson loves his tight ends. He's going to use them frequently. I did like Brenton Strange heading into this year, honestly. I thought that was a solid sleeper pick if Evan Ingram did just sign his 1-year deal with them. But, you know, he'll have to wait a little bit. My 4th round pick will have to chill on on the taxi squad for a year. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So, gentlemen, we had a keep trade cut segment, but I'm going to get us right into the mock draft. We got some patient people waiting here with us. So without further ado, let's get into the mock draft. All right. I did just get a message from our number 1 pick saying that he got a work call. So I'm going to get this going. We'll see. I'll pick for him until he gets back, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can snipe a few from Mason here. All right.
Man, you already know who I'm taking.
Now this is where, though, now I don't know what rules you guys have, but in my league, if you're late first round, you get a kicker, period. So I just wanted to throw that.
I love that.
All right.
I love that.
And then 102
Drafted
pick,
Patrick Mahomes, number 1
we
overall.
go Burrow over Allen and Hurts, even though a lot of people say that'd be weird, but he doesn't run, and longevity is better in my opinion. I think Allen and Hurts' career won't be as long because of the reason that they run. And once they stop running,
I like to bring up a quick point, just so you know. I have a doctor on my show. I'm a physical therapist. He was my professor. He's very smart, and he actually had this great study that they put out that it's actually the pocket quarterbacks that get hurt a lot more than running quarterbacks, and it should make sense to you. When you run, you control everything. When you stay in the pocket, you don't. So just so you know, the study is the pocket QB is the one that gets injured more. Just so
Thank you so much. I've told this to Evan for so long.
Yes, it's always in one ear out the other, Dan. In one ear out the other.
Yeah, because the running quarterbacks can see what they're going into. A lot of times they'll protect themselves by taking slides. Like you were saying, the pocket quarterbacks, pocket collapses. They don't know where it's coming in. Sometimes it's their own offensive lineman falling on them from a funny angle. So I very much appreciate that right there.
No worries. It's an actual study.
Evan.
Yep, it's an actual study out. You can look it up. So, in fact, we'll put it on our website at some point because he always gives me show notes and I forget. Sorry, Dr. Miller. But I'll have those posted so you guys can check that out. But it's true.
Excellent. I apologize. I had
John Robinson.
Yeah, Josh Allen
volume still on. And Nolan, you missed your first pick.
What do you guys think? Bajan in the first.
Hey, I got JJ, so we'll just roll with it. I looked down for 2 seconds and went, oh crap, 30 seconds per pick.
Well, these boys are moving. That's why we like it right here. That's great.
Moving. I just put up a comment on the screen. Josh Allen at 105 is crazy. I think we got some homerism with the Justin Herbert pick going 105.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to specify that, but I don't.
And this is super flex too, right?
It is.
Yeah. Yes. And if anybody needs me to pause the draft, let me know.
Oh, not at all. I was just
okay. Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
That's
Early
early to see
testing
Tua
Tua.
go. That's
Tua!
Hey, never mind. Dolphins.
You guys, listen,
yeah,
I'm
that
going
makes
to
sense.
say this too. Let me so we can bring this up, first of all, because I've said this on my show a few times. Let's start talking about every damn team. Excuse me if that's okay, I can cuss. Let's talk about every fucking team's quarterback. Let's talk about what they'll look like if they're injured. Because a brain injury is just like any other injury. It needs time to heal. Tua did not have that time last year, as you saw when he went back in that Cincinnati game and got hurt again. So now he's had the time of the offseason. I don't know if you've seen this brick thick house he looks like right now, but you just wait. You just wait to 2023. Tua, you guys forgot how good he was last year. He's going to be just as good this year and healthy.
I hope you're right. Because I do have a lot of shares of him, actually.
No, I love Tua. I love the weapons. I love McDaniels as the coach. He knows how to scheme guys open. And now they just added a fourth track star to the team in A-Chain, who will just be, if it's not there for Tua, he doesn't need to take off. He's just going to dump it down, let the guy do his thing. We made the joke on our first episode, or one of our episodes where we were talking about running backs. Now that they added A-Chain, if there was ever to be a relay race in the NFL, you got Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, and A-Chain. It's game over. They're the fastest team in the league.
Oh, yeah. I love it. By the way, I took Anthony Richardson. That was one of those I panicked moves. I'll be honest with you. I was not really a believer in Anthony Richardson, to be honest. I don't have a lot of great. So, because, again, rookie QBs to me are kind of hit and miss. Like, we don't know what Anthony Richardson is going to be like. Does this system fit him or what? So, that was a shitty pick on me, but that's the way you live and learn when you draft, right?
Right. That's what mocks are all about.
Luckily, there's no money in this for me. I'm okay.
Right. Yeah, you get to take these chances.
And I mean, hey, it's a dynasty league. If he hits, he has probably the highest upside we've ever seen.
For sure. For the running ability, for sure.
The freakiest quarterback. Those combine metrics were just insane. 98th percentile and everything. I do believe that he can work on his accuracy and really improve that pretty quickly. He's got the right coach in Steichen to do that and make him progress as quickly as possible. Hurts had a lot of those same worries. So, and we see where he is now. So
these quarterbacks left over poo-poo. Oh, my God. Well, let's just go with it. I mean, hey, why not, right?
Yeah.
You think it's a mock. Oh, my God.
Over Bryce, though? Over Bryce? That's interesting.
I might vomit.
Oh,
man.
211 is a steal. Honestly, I mean, if he's healthy, he's good to go.
Austin took two quarterbacks back to back, but
this Breece Hall pick's interesting. I think that's really high for Breece Hall, honestly, coming off an ACL, which Doc also has a study on that running backs do not definitely take another year to come back. He's looking for longevity with Breece, but just tore his ACL for year one, not a good start. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to take some time, and they obviously hedged their bet a little bit by taking Abanikanda. I think he's also a pretty freaky athlete, and I liked him a lot. Unfortunate landing spot being behind a true stud in Breece Hall. But maybe he'll be able to show his shine a little bit at the beginning of the season when Hall's easing into his workload.
Agreed. All right. Now, who is this on the first? Mr. Fields. He's got Patrick Mahomes and Jalen. Oh, look like the Kelsey. I love it. Wow.
Let's see. Okay.
Interesting stat.
He's trying. You got to stack.
Back into the work meeting there.
Ooh, wee.
I'll see if I can. He's on auto now, so that's up there.
Oh, okay. Was that you drafted for him?
No, I honestly wouldn't have minded taking the Kelsey stack with a win now method. I probably wouldn't have gone Waddle there if I was going win now. But he still has some balance. Hopefully he makes it back to the draft and is able to oh, there he is.
Yeah, he just messaged in. He's real happy with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that too. Honestly, I'm okay with Waddle and a win now too. Waddle's gonna be good this year. I mean, I love the way that started. That's a good little.
Oh no, I like Waddle as a pick right there. I just was thinking in terms of a win now team. I don't know if that would have been my strategy to pair with Kelsey. But he's still
Stop
got some balance.
disrespecting Jalen Waddle, okay, Dan? Damn it.
I love Waddle this year.
Oh man, that's too funny. All right, I like the Nick Chubb pick. That's earlier than I expected to see him go off the board, but Chubb is my favorite player in the league.
Listen,
Can't hate on that
Austin,
guy.
Austin, if you're listening right now, boy, ooh wee,
you sexy
boy. Josh Allen,
Dak Prescott, Tyreek Hill. That's nothing but sexy, baby.
baby, I love that.
I don't know what you see in sexy in Dak right now. I don't know.
I see Brandon Cooks. I see CeeDee Lamb. That's what I see. And chuck that shit down the field. That's all you need. Jordan Love's the best.
I was going to say, who threw that garbage on the screen? Jordan Love. Is that you, Evan?
Where?
The Jordan Love comment. I know you love some Jordan Love.
I do love me some Jordan Love. No.
Oh, me too.
I will
you
say,
guys,
Weeze Felizzle, whatever the hell your name is.
I love that. Lamar and Deshaun, and now you got Mark Andrews. I'm liking that too a lot, so that's nice. Ooh,
Yeah, I was hoping that Mark Andrews was going to fall to me there, but I'll be happy with who I still think will end up as the number 1 wide receiver this year.
Really?
All right, let's see here.
It's not that bold, I guess. I just don't see it.
Okay, let's go ahead and fill. That's more of a
All right, let's get this. Let's get
Okay.
these points. Let's get points on the board, right?
Running backs.
Let's get some points on the board with some studs. I like it.
I like that.
That was always my strategy forever, was the, stack up your RBs and then get your meat and potatoes and then let the rest fall where it may. So what's that? Kyler Murray.
Right. Running backs tend to drop in Dynasty, but I think that these guys that have these proven first couple of years, that's really where you got to lean. It's so hard to predict availability, A, just because these running backs get injured so frequently, and then B, just like future contracts. The running back market is so flooded. I think those are a couple of great picks and good values here in the 3rd and 4th. Interesting.
We got
Daniel Jones going early, in my opinion.
The guy
That's our CEO, though, so I'm not going to talk too much smack. Keep my job.
The guy picking the fantasy something. I mean, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Jackson Smith, and Kyle Pitts. I don't know. I'm feeling all this right here. I like Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, but I think it's a little early for Jackson, if I'm being honest. And Kyle Pitts is all right, but you got a lot more to go, so we'll see.
Right. Those 3rd and 4th picks are high promise, but yet to be proven. So a lot of risk there. Travis Etienne, interesting. I haven't heard you talk much about Etienne.
I know. I normally go Kenneth Walker there, but I'm just, when you do the same thing over and over and over again, you sometimes just want to try something.
Mix it up. I like AJ.
And then Mason takes Kenneth Walker.
That late
Thank you for letting them drop, Evan.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh man, that's great.
Man,
y'all know my stance on Charbonnet. Yeah. I am a big Charbonnet truther. I do think he's going to eat into Walker's production quite a bit. So I don't blame you. I honestly, out of all the picks, though, I would have went with Nolan's with Pollard. I think he's going to have a true shot at being a top 5 running back this season. He was already running back 8 with Zeke getting over 200.
You can call him whatever you want. He's a free agent. It don't matter.
Yeah, he's gone now. Zeke left. Oh man, he's getting eaten up like Tzatziki. You guys can stop me whenever you want.
I would love to get Pollard in like a real draft just because he's going to be. I think he's going to be a real solid passing game running back, and he's going to run the ball a lot. And I know he's coming off a big injury, but I just think he's going to want to capitalize on the opportunity he's about to get and really run with it. So I don't know. We'll see, though. I might
Hey,
be
he's gonna
going
run with
something
it?
else
I gotta
here,
take
but
him somewhere. I honestly think he's one of the most valuable tight ends in the league. I mean, he's not going to be as good as Kelsey or anything like that, but I mean, he's got years on him still, and Kirk Cousins is good enough for fantasy. And I mean, who knows what they do after him? But I mean, they went and traded for him. I think they got big plans with Hawkinson.
Any worries of Addison nipping into a little bit of that production there?
What was that?
Any worries about Addison taking away from a little bit of that production there?
Maybe a little, but I mean, they've always had two solid targets. I mean, I think Thielen and Jefferson were a good combo already. So, I mean, maybe a little, but no, I still see as far as tight end production goes, it's still going to be one of the better ones. It's hard to
Evan,
find tight end production.
who are you today? Sidney
I'm
Stevenson?
drafting. I'm keeping you
My
guys on your
boy.
toes. You know,
Oh,
never
my
know
boy.
guess your next move.
Oof, early.
That's amazing. I love Stevenson. I'm really just praying that the Patriots don't take Cook at this point.
Yeah,
Now that Hopkins didn't land on their team, I feel like it makes it a little bit easier for them to lean that way. But they don't need another running back. They need a wide receiver.
but it would
If I
be
was them,
just
I'd
such a Patriots move to do it anyways. You know.
You're not lying. You're not lying. But yeah, no, I have some Stevenson shares. I got some Pierre Strong shares. So I'm really hoping Dalvin Cook doesn't come in and screw all that up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Dalton
hoping he
Kincaid there
comes
before me,
cruising up
though.
down south. Is what I'm hoping he's doing.
I was actually going to go Dalton Kincaid. Nolan, you sniped me. You got me pretty good there. I was waiting for it.
hey, the Bills are about to run him ragged with how often he's going to touch the football.
Bro, we did our Bill
Diggs
show.
wants the ball more. Kincaid's about to get the ball in the red zone. That's going to be the red zone target.
When we did our Bill show, literally every one of our Bills insiders, all of them kept saying Dalton. I mean, just kept spewing out the mouth. I'm like, bro, okay, duly fucking noted.
That's all I have to say. Own it.
That's great to hear that from the inside. That's so awesome. You get that. Ooh.
Cal,
Okay, Calvin Ridley.
that's like, we'll see.
I love that too.
I like that. After you make your next pick, I am interested to hear your Calvin Ridley takes. I feel like there's a lot of he's splitting the spectrum. There's a lot of people leaning both ways on him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like the receiver position is all about, speed and timing. So it's going to take him a little bit for sure. But, once he can get back, and this is a high-paced offense that he can certainly find a nice home in. So I think it might take him a little bit. But once he gets the timing down, I mean, he was one of the best when he left, and it wasn't like a big injury kept him out. So I expect him to be good to go mid-season forward, to be honest with you, in mid-season.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is amazing things out of camp. People are saying he hasn't lost a step, that he's ready to go. And I can see him playing with a vengeance right now. He's mad. He took his own time for personal reasons, not going to get on anybody for that. Don't really know what was going on in his personal life there. But then to get suspended for a full year after that, I'm sure he's not the happiest. So I think he will come back with a vengeance. Ridley was a stud beforehand, and he's in a great situation right now.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, who is this guy, Sky Captain? Who's this?
Ooh,
He's in
that's
the StadiumRant
Oh, my
Dynasty
goodness.
League.
Are you drafting a trade, bro? I mean, that's all I want to know.
I mean, he's already got his wide receivers and flex set up
For years.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
right? A lot of great young talent, but we'll see how these quarterbacks fall out coming up here.
Like, if we were in a
Dynasty League, I'd be offering up my 2025
pick for one of these guys. I mean, come on.
Hey, this is,
Right.
with the beauty of this being made up, this is what I'm going to do.
I love it.
Ooh,
I
okay.
love me some DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
I think this is a good
Why
one.
not?
Why not?
Why not?
I'm gonna go Pickens.
That's big. I mean, he was a stud last year as soon as he came back.
Look at Nolan's team, too. Like,
Pickens is
quietly.
wide receiver 1, though? I don't know about that.
quietly a nice little studly team there.
He's got
Nolan, with
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Hopkins.
I got some
Dalton
point
King.
scorers, man.
You
No,
do. You went after points. That's what fantasy's about.
I love it.
God,
Absolutely.
I would faint if I got a team like this. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I mean, after he came back, he didn't score not one game under 15 points. So
The amount of
very
trash
consistent
talk that would
production.
happen from me if I had a team like that. Oh,
That's great.
You guys hear that out there? Y'all letting Nolan do this?
No,
No one feels like he's running
dirty on us right now.
Oh my God! Listen, if J.K. Dobbins, let me hear someone else talk about J.K. Dobbins again. I've already said on my show he's banned from being spoken about. The guy, all I hear from fantasy, I love J.K. Dobbins this year. I love J.K. Dobbins this year. He's never done nothing. What you love about him? He ain't done nothing.
I'll let somebody else take the floor here. I don't want. I'm not going to add to the fire here. Someone else take the floor because I love
People always
J.K.
forget
Dobbins.
that Lamar is the Ravens running back.
Exactly. And J.K. Dobbins, as I listen, in fantasy, it is about consistency. I don't care what anyone says. You go with the consistent people that have done it and continuously do it. And J.K. Dobbins ain't ever done shit. Period.
You know what he has done though is impressed me with this highlight tape. He definitely has done that.
That's something. But fantasy wise,
He ain't on my roster.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when he's injured this much, but he's never finished a season at under 5.6 yards per carry. Like, that's pretty good when he's on the field.
Play, though. That's
exactly. That's the tough part.
Right?
It's like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, my only share of him, I drafted him right after the ACL tear. So I got him, I believe it was the 8th round, like the end of the 8th round. So I was very happy with that value there. But I'm still waiting. I'm still sitting here 2 years later, just like, yeah, just give him a shot. It'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Even when he's running on one leg, he looks better than half of these backs.
It's true. That's true. He does look good when he's in, but like I said, it's just his consistency to me. I'm just like, I can't do it.
No, it's very tough. I mean, I did the same thing in this draft. I took Javonte Williams, even though he tore the ACL and PCL there. It's going to be a little while till he comes back, but if he can come back in 2024 fully healthy under Sean Payton, if he does anything well, he knows how to run the ball and get the best out of his backs. So I love me a Sean Payton running back. And if I'm speaking on a podcast now with, I'm sure some people in this draft listening, but I'll probably be taking Samaje Perine if someone doesn't snipe him from me later on.
You probably need to, with that.
Yeah, I just jinxed it. Someone's definitely going to be taking him.
Yeah,
All right, here's our boy. Just talked about it earlier in the episode. Joe Mixon, guaranteed volume for a year. And when I'm looking at dynasty running backs, I'm not looking much further than 2 years down the road. Too hard to predict. So I'm happy with having him as my RB2 while Javonte recovers.
Got some Zay Flowers action. I like that. A-Chain, the rookies are flowing.
The rookies are flowing.
Well, I went old early. I went old early in my running backs, and now I went a little young.
Field said, "Wait, this isn't
That's
legit."
good. A little bit of balance. I got my Marquise Brown stack when Murray returns. As a physical therapist and having a doctor on your show, do you have any thoughts about Kyler Murray and his return?
Yeah, so he actually on my Cardinal show, we just had it. Thankfully, he actually went through it, and he said he does not even expect him. He doesn't even understand why they would even play him this whole entire season, because quite frankly, they're not going to. He's not going to. It would be stupid to rush him back. First of all, to start the season, they're obviously going to struggle in the season. So, do you want to bring Kyler Murray back and risk injury on a team that's got like 4 or 5, maybe 3 wins or whatever it may be at the time. So that was basically what he was bringing up, is like, it just doesn't make sense to even play him at all this season at the position they may be in when he is healthy to return. So that was his take on it. So I think at the end of the day, you're not going to see Kyler Murray at least until 5-6 weeks into the season. And, he even thinks that's rushing it a bit.
Okay, that's very interesting to hear, because like I'm no doctor. Obviously, we hear all of the positive reports, as you do with all of the players. Oh, I'm looking to get back by week 1. We know week 1's not an option. He got injured very late in the season. But to my understanding, I think the ACL recovery time on average is, I think it's like 9 to 10 months, 8 to 9 months, something around there.
For athletes, it's a little different, and especially some of the treatments. That was the other thing he brought up now, because it's obviously way different, the surgeries that they do now that they used to. So the recovery time is less. The problem is with Kyler Murray, as he brought up, a lot of his offense too is predicated on his running ability, which he would. Then, of course, when you think about that injury, just for a second, just put yourself in that shoes. You have a major injury to your knee. It took you a bit to rehab it. Okay, and now you're feeling okay, but you still know it's there. And now you're out in this football field with all these big ass people gunning for exactly what you just got injured. So that's why you hear, it's not why you're here, but it's muscle recovery. All of that plays in a factor. But just think the mental aspect of it too. And especially as a quarterback, not only are you dealing with that, the running, the calling the play, the watch what defense is on. So there's a lot to the whole process of being a QB, especially coming off such a late ACL. Again, it would just, as far as the Cardinals franchise is concerned, that doesn't make any sense to me to rush him back for sure.
I hear what you're saying too, and they don't have like a ton of great options to be throwing the ball to. So I know he's going to be trying to extend plays if he does get back in the game. That's like you were saying, a lot of his game is predicated on mobility, not even necessarily taking off with the ball, but extending plays. He's very good at that. He relies on that very heavily. So I hear what you're saying. Why rush him back when you're probably trying to gun for a bottom pick? They got their pick. They have the Texans pick for next year. So they're likely going to have at least 2 top 5 picks at the bare minimum. So I'm thinking that they could trade one away and maybe still wind up with Marvin Harrison for next year.
I like it. I mean, again, keeping I had Randall Hill on. I don't know if you guys remember Randall Hill. He played for the University of Miami in their heyday, and he played for the Cardinals as well. I had a nice little clip of him saying he didn't think Kyler Murray has those intangibles to take a team to the next level. I haven't played on an NFL team, so I don't know what those intangibles are. I'm not going to speak on that. But what I will say is that, there was a lot of BS that came out about the whole, like, him playing video games, then all of a sudden that got quiet. Like, so there's something there that maybe he's not quite the leader that they are expecting or whatever it may be. But he's a great athlete at the end of the day. So I think he's a great investment and a great QB to get a build team behind. I just think maybe there's some focus issues, if you will, I guess. But, as he grows older, that just all of us, we become a little more focused on what we want to do and accomplish. So.
Right. I mean, I always wondered how much there is behind those statements. Like, okay, he plays Call of Duty. That's fine. Tyreek Hill streams. Half of these guys do whatever the hell they want, and like, okay, so what? He plays Call of Duty. It's not a big deal.
I should probably throw this out there. Dan drafted Kyler Murray in the past 2 startups I did with him, so he's probably not happy about this off.
That's why he's in that
camp. he's working hard for this one.
I'm getting selfish intel right now. I need all the doctors telling me what's going on with him. This is all for me, guys. This whole podcast, just so I can find out about Kyler Murray. All right. No, yeah, I can't pass him up in the 4th round. He's perennially a top 6 quarterback every year of his career for fantasy. So, I mean, I won't pass that up.
Do I go Thunder Thighs or do I
Davis,
go
big
Brian
shot.
Robinson? I'm gonna go Thunder Thighs.
Okay.
Thunder Thighs.
I always talk about AJ Dillon, and I just don't understand, but hopefully they'll do it now. Listen, you're in fucking Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's cold. Run the football, and especially with AJ Dillon, I hope that's what this Packer offense evolves into, because it just makes sense. Just think about geographically where they are and how, teams win late in the season running the football and defense. Hello, well then do it. So we'll see what they turn out to. But
Yeah, I mean, I think with Jordan Love taking over, I could absolutely see them leaning on the run a lot more often, or even I mean, they don't have stud wide receivers in my opinion. Watson is a freak athlete. Romeo Doubs is a solid route runner, but not the athlete that they've had in the past. I could absolutely see that having more checkdowns and more rushing attempts. Let's see here.
Since we're talking about, let's go around the room. What do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets? Do you guys think that that's going to be a good combo this year? That's what I'd like to know.
Are we talking fantasy wise or?
We're just talking. No, I just think in sports in general. Do you think the Jets are going to do it? I've had such big debates about this because I'm in the camp that I'm like, look what Tom Brady did when he went to Tampa. When he went to it, like he went to Tampa, went to a new team. It was COVID. And Buddy was like, "Yo, get your ass to the park because we need to get in tune and all this." Aaron Rodgers is out at hippie festivals. He's out at games. He ain't doing nothing. The New York Jets are going to be a joke. I cannot wait for the season. Anyway, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think the AFC is too tough. I mean, if that team was in the NFC, I think they'd be contenders, but no, not like. Do you think they're going to be like the Chiefs, Bills, or Bengals? No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Miami Dolphins.
That's all right. No offense, Tegan.
I mean,
I've been talking a lot. Evan, what's your take?
Yeah, everybody says that he didn't have that many weapons in Green Bay, and it was completely like everybody was like washed out there. But I don't know. I think that Jordan Love, when this short time that he did play, he impressed me, and what he was able to do with that offense, and what Aaron Rodgers was able to do with that offense was better. But I think it's also been a major part of him, being in practice a lot more and things like that. So I don't know. I think a part of me does believe that the Aaron Rodgers is on a decline. So I might have to disagree with you here a little bit, Coop. But I don't know. I could totally see a world where he's still playing up to par.
Listen, let me just say this one last thing. The guy was halfway to retirement, right? And so imagine what happens. Imagine they start out 1-4, 1-5. Can you imagine what this New York media is going to be like with him and how he's going to act back? Bro, I cannot wait for the circus. This is full entertainment. I'm so excited they're on Hard Knocks too. That is so exciting. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be incredible. A lot of a good coverage there. I do think that he'll do great in terms of supporting Garrett Wilson. That's my main concern, really. I got a share of Garrett Wilson, so I'm just looking forward to seeing him catching passes from someone not named Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
That's what I'm pumped about, but I'm not looking to take Aaron Rodgers anywhere, probably in the top 10 rounds of Dynasty Startups. He's got the 2-year window. And in terms of quarterbacks for Dynasty Startups, I'm looking to get longevity out of this position. And that's why, not to bring him up again, we have a Justin Ross counter for this guy Evan over here. He loves Justin Ross. He brings him up at no end. And I think maybe he's got to get me a Kyler Murray counter. I apparently can't stop talking about the guy.
Hey, speaking of that, you guys let the greatest receiver in the league slip to 8'11". That's all I got to say.
8'11".
Don't your Tony. You love your Tony, man. You love
my God.
Oh my God.
So we all got our players. We all got our counters.
Give me Justin Ross. I mean, the value of Justin Ross right now, it is that from the hype alone, it's incredibly high. Like you know that I traded away Justin Ross with the second round pick for a first round pick next year. So like that's I think that I could even lose that trade.
I couldn't believe that. We threw that up on Twitter. That was like one of your blow up tweets because
I
nobody
didn't want to
could
do
believe
it.
that you
I really
got
didn't
that
want to do
done.
it. People
were like, "Oh, you're just bragging. Like you're just bragging about this ridiculous trade because
I really
it
didn't
is
want to do it.
ridiculous that anybody was willing to move that up."
No, it's what I needed though. I wouldn't have taken anything less for him, honestly. I was selling him at his value, for my opinion. Which we'll talk about Nico Collins later too.
I love me some Nico Collins. You see that trade request I sent you for Nico today?
That's why I'm bringing it up. We'll talk more about it. I didn't have time to get into
Talk about it.
We'll talk.
I'm willing to budge a little bit. I'm not
He's
gonna
like, "Come
bet.
on now."
I'll budge a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, I'm here to tell you, as someone that has bartered his way from. I started playing fantasy. I'm a little older, I guess, than you guys, sadly. But I started playing my first year. I won my first ever league because somebody told me, "Hey, man, you should pick up this guy that Trent Green just got hurt, and this guy Kurt Warner is just going to." And you already have Holt and Bruce on my team for some reason because I just my first year. I didn't know. He's like, "It'll be a good combo for you," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I ended up making a trade for Marshall Falk, so I had the greatest show on turf for my first ever.
That's insane.
Had no idea what I was doing, and everyone was like, "You can't have the same people on the same team," which is so true. You don't ever really do that, but I just so happened to luck out and have the greatest show on turf. So ever since that moment, though, that has turned my life into fantasy. It's all I live for. So thank you, my friend Craig, for that great advice way back when.
That's incredible. Marshall Falk was the first jersey I ever bought. He is one of the reasons why I am also into football as much as I am. Love the player, love the guy, and love that team. That was just an incredible offense to be introduced to at a young age. So love that we both were very much impacted by this team. Greatest show on turf, man. Oh, man. And I love that old, like, blue and gold that they had back in the day. The, like, dark blue and the gold. I thought that was a great-looking jersey, too.
It was. The St. Louis.
Speaking of jerseys, you guys see the new Browns release? Woo!
I think I like it.
Listen, I like it too, but if you try, like, are you so trying to cop off the Bengals though, bro? That was hot. The Bengals is hot and makes sense. Why would a Browns team be white? That don't make no damn sense. Come on.
Our helmet's orange. None of it makes sense. We just need to look good.
That's true. Well, it's burnt orange. It's kind of in the brown family. Like,
Yes.
It's kind of close-ish.
More so than white. Definitely more so than white.
How could you be a team called the Browns and be all white? That makes you are copying off the Bengals. I will say though, I do think that it does distinctly hold an advantage for the Bengals or even the Browns to play late in the season with those white unis on with the snow, bro. You could see like that's a definite advantage. So if I'm every team, I'd be busting out a white jersey, a white something.
Right? White something. You Lawrence Taylor over there breaking out white something before the game.
Hey Dan, did you see who sponsored that new jersey, that new helmet?
I actually didn't. Who sponsored it?
It's Dude Wipes.
Dude.
They are the Browns.
I'm not joking. It's Dude Wipes. They have a partnership with Dude Wipes to promote the new helmet.
A great ad read in the middle of the Browns game when they wear those jerseys. Brought to you by Dude Wipes.
When you need a wipey.
Do I live on a rock? What are Dude Wipes?
That's so great, man.
I don't know. We wipe like your balls. My balls ain't that sweaty ever. Like I live in Florida too. So what's everybody's?
Clearly untapped market because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We don't either, to be honest.
Right. Oh boy, 14 seconds. Here's my panic pick. Fuck. All right. Going with it. Need to bring some youth to my roster here. Started off very good now. Let's see. We'll pull the board up a little bit. Give you guys a full look of what we got so far.
Yeah, let's see it all.
Man, oh man. So, all right. So the two teams that waited on quarterback, they have Russell Wilson and Derek Carr, and then the other team has Jordan Love and Sam Howell.
That's
Both
doable.
with very, very different strategies here. One goes win now, worry about it in the future, and the other Jordan Love and Sam Howell, really hoping that they pan out, but both could be replaced as soon as next year. So very risky business over here with these two teams. I'm also pretty risky with my third quarterback right now. So I will take Ryan Tannehill in the 14th. I got Desmond Ritter last year uh, before Marcus Mariota went out with injury. He was the QB 13. I enjoyed riding that Mariota ride because I picked him up off the waivers in the summer before. He did pretty decent for a team that I was kind of trying to tank with. And I think that Ritter has that same mobility, offers the same rushing upside, but has a little bit better accuracy. And if he can be efficient on his passing targets while still giving you just like a little bit of a rushing baseline, I really do think he can produce. But in case he doesn't, while Murray is injuring, now we got Tannehill with a couple of studs on the team with Hopkins and Burks here.
Yeah, I love.
How about you guys?
Right now? I love his ADP right now. It's that 11th round. Are you kidding me? For a quarterback that is deemed to be the future right now. They don't have anybody else that's coming up, or I mean, I guess they could, but with all the capital that they put into the offense this year with Bijan too, I see it going really well for him.
Yeah, no, I like where he is getting drafted at. I think it's a low risk, high reward.
Who would you guys take? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nolan.
Oh, I was just gonna say like you guys said, he's now getting an opportunity in an offense that is now more pieced together than it was last year. There were a lot of question marks as to where the hell they were going with it. And then they had Robinson be gifted to them in the draft.
Yes.
So, I mean, he fell right to them. What was it, at 6? So, I mean, the fact that they got to get a franchise running back, even though Tyler Allegreer was a 1,000-yard rusher, which props to him behind that Falcons O-line. But Ritter is now stepping into the right situation where he doesn't have to truly compete with anybody, and he showed that, hey, give me some more time to get gelled in with this offense, and then you add in other pieces now. I think it's perfect for him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Both are in good opportunities. We have Desmond Ritter and Sam Howell. I feel like in a similar boat here. Entering year 2, both have increased a better situation. Eric Bieniemy joining the Commanders, I really think can take it up a notch. And we just touched on Ritter. Who would you guys rather have in a startup?
Ritter still for me.
Ritter? Mason, what do you think?
I'm sorry, what was the second one? I didn't hear that.
Howell or Ritter in a startup?
I would take Ritter.
Ritter?
I mean,
Nolan?
Howell looked good in his short little stint that he did last year.
Howell absolutely torched the Cowboys, so man.
But that's the Cowboys. That's
hard.
Hey, easy there. Easy. I'm gonna go Howell just to kind of be different. I think he's in the same situation as Ritter. He's being gifted a starting spot as a quarterback. So I mean, I think he should run with it. I would take Howell.
Okay.
I'm going to take Ritter, and because of Atlanta's defense is absolutely atrocious, where Washington's is not all that great, but it's not as bad as Atlanta. So their situation, I think, for Ritter is kind of set up for him fantasy-wise to be a lot better than Howell because of volume, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. How bad has Atlanta's defense been for how long? I mean, how many Super Bowls we got to see him lose because of bad defense? So, for me, I go Sam Ritter just because of the situation and the weapons that there's some surrounding him with.
I will say you said Sam Ritter, so you got the best of both worlds. You got a little bit of Sam Howell, you got Desmond Ritter.
Desmond, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, that's too funny. Yeah, I do agree. I would have to lean Desmond Ritter over Sam Howell. I think that with the upside of the rushing upside, I should have said, I do think it just adds that little bit of an edge in comparison. But I do like Sam Howell. He does have mobility as well. We saw in his last year, he had Diami Brown and Daz Newsome. They aren't studs in the NFL, but they're NFL caliber wide receivers. And he put up great passing numbers in his first 2 years at North Carolina. In his third year, they both are off of the team. Howell said, I'm going to do it on my own. I believe he ended up with over 800 yards rushing. His passing numbers dropped a little bit, but he shows some grit. I think both are solid options with where we can get them in drafts right now, being in the 11th round. But that being said, there are question marks. They both have decent journeyman quarterbacks backing them up in Brissett and in, why am I blanking, Heineke. So with both of those guys backing them up, it may be a short leash, but I think it's a risk people will be willing to take here this late in drafts.
Yeah, Desmond Howell is going to have a good season.
Desmond Howell.
Oh, man, that's too good.
Do you guys think Deuce Vaughn has any more value with Pollard not reaching a deal either?
I do.
I mean, I think that's a big thing. I mean, they got rid of Zeke, which I think was kind of me. Like, they looked like they were going to commit to Pollard a lot, but they obviously didn't. And I think that gives a lot more opportunity for Deuce Vaughn to, and he's got family inside. He'll get pushed his way up.
He'll get his touches. He'll get his touches.
When your dad's the head scout for the Dallas Cowboys, you probably got a little bit of pull there. But I think he's going to have a lot of value just because he's going to touch the ball a lot more than he probably anticipated. And with Zeke gone, obviously, and then we also lost some of our other guys in the running back room. It's wide open right now to get touches in the backfield. And considering how delicate the running back state is in the NFL right now, I mean, why not go out and perform and show, hey, the second stringer in Dallas might be able to do something?
I do. Hey, go Cowboys. That's my girl right there. All right. And I agree with that. With the depth on this team, I wouldn't be too worried about Pollard's goal line touches. But Nolan, being a Cowboys fan, do you think that Deuce Vaughn is going to eat into his passing work specifically? Or do you think he's going to get a little bit of both, a little bit of volume on the ground?
I think in the first couple of weeks, you might see Deuce eat into it a little bit more just because Pollard is coming off of the injury. And they want to be careful, especially since they are fully committing to him, even though he will be on a franchise tag. Maybe see Deuce eat into it a little bit at first, get Pollard back comfortable level. And then once Pollard's back, then Deuce might see more of the third down, maybe the goal line stuff, just because Deuce is short and fast, but he does have a little bit more meat on the bones than Tony Pollard does. And Deuce might be able to fight for some yards. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. I agree with everything you said up until the meat on the bones. Boy, he's tiny. He's like 5'6", like 180 soaking wet.
He's a little muscle hamster, though. He's got some meat.
He's a little muscle hamster. Who was that guy back in the day? He played for the Bucks. Muscle hamster. That was a legit name.
Doug Martin.
Thank you, Doug Martin. Yeah, that's the guy.
Also played for the Cowboys.
No.
Did he really?
Yeah, Doug Martin had his heyday. All right. So let's touch on. Let's start off with Mason. Mason, out of all of your picks so far, who would you say you like most as a value on your team?
As a value,
As a value specifically,
well,
you
of
can just
course,
give me your favorite pick of the draft so far if you'd like.
Kadarius Toney, but
You definitely need the counter.
no, honestly, I mean, even it might be before ADP, but I think Rondell Moore. I love Rondell Moore, like 13th, 14th round. I think he's got so much potential. I think people have always slept on him. I mean, this year's obviously going to be rough. But I mean, either he's going to have Kyler throwing to him probably, unless they decide to move on from Kyler, which I don't think they would with that contract ever, for at least for a while. But I mean, like, I think Rondell Moore is gonna have a big season. Not this year, next year once Kyler's back. I mean, D Hop's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's going to be a good safety valve for them, running these short routes, especially if Kyler can't make it back quickly. I know Clayton Tune has a little bit of mobility if he ends up starting, but if it does end up being Colt McCoy, he is not so mobile. So he's going to need those quick, easy release routes, and Rondell Moore should be that guy. He is a freak athlete. I would say, personally, on your team, I love your Trey Lance, Brock Purdy stack. They could easily be on separate teams in another year or two. But right now, you most likely have the starting quarterback for San Francisco, unless somehow Sam Darnold makes it onto the scene.
Hey, I'll make sure he's my 20th pick then.
All right, let's move on to Nolan. Nolan, what is your favorite pick of your draft so far?
Oh, as far as just overall value, probably going to go Justin Jefferson. That dude's about to touch the ball 1,000 freaking times this year. I know that's real cookie cutter answer there, but JJ. And then I love that I got Dalton Kincaid, and we already kind of touched on that. I think he holds a lot of value in that Bills offense. Later rounds, dicey, very dicey. I probably wouldn't go anywhere near anybody in the later rounds, but I think Mike Evans is going to have a big year with Baker as well. I think that's another one of my favorites.
Oh, that is a good one.
Definitely going to be willing to take some shots downfield, give that double pump, triple pump, quadruple pump. Then when he's not sacked, he'll throw it deep downfield to Mike Evans. All right, Evan, who is your favorite pick of your draft so far?
I gotta be Dallas Goedert in the 7th round. I love Dallas Goedert in the 7th round. I think that we didn't see what we wanted to from him last year, but I think he's super talented, and that offense is red hot right now too. And I think he's one of the top 2 targets on the team. But in terms of the later rounds,
over Devonta.
Well, yeah, maybe not the top 2, actually top 3. But but in terms of the later rounds, all 3 of the last picks I made. I love Tank Dell, Michael Wilson, Puka Nacua, 15th to 17th round. Those are they could go way higher in value. Any one of those 3 guys.
Absolutely. I love Dallas Goedert. He is the late round target for me specifically at the tight end position. I personally have him ranked as both my redraft and dynasty tight end 3. Actually, I lied. In dynasty, he's my tight end 4. We got Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce, just because of age, and then Dallas Goedert. But I do think he finishes this season as the tight end 3.
So I really next week's show.
Yeah. 2 weeks. We got another mock draft coming up next. But yeah, I do love me some Dallas Goedert. And Commissioner Cooper, who is your favorite pick so far in your draft?
I'm not in love with my team, if I'm being honest. But if I had to take a value for me, I like Zay Flowers where I got him, because I think as far as a dynasty is concerned, like, he's somebody you can, I guess, buy into for the long term with Lamar just getting his big contract, and hopefully finds a combo here, finally gets a receiver that he gets in tune with. And I think Zay Flowers is going to be, I'm hoping Zay Flowers be that guy. So I think as far as value goes, I like Zay Flowers where I got him, especially in this dynasty format, because he's somebody I can hang on to for quite a while.
Absolutely. I mean, all we're hearing about right now is Todd Monken increasing the passing volume. A lot of the reports out of camp are talking about the pace of play. Ravens have always been a bottom of the league pace of play team, especially being as run heavy as they were. So I'm expecting a lot more plays per game out of this team. And I think Flowers has that slot role locked down. You know, they got a couple of guys that are good on the outside in Bateman and OBJ. And then even Nelson Aguilar, like he's not being much talked about, but again, outside guy. So the slot seems very safe. All he does have to compete with Mark Andrews in terms of routes over the middle of the field. But I still think that there's easily a case to be made for him ending up as the wide receiver 1 on this team long term. I do like Bateman, but I do think that Flowers can show, especially in PPR formats, that he will be the fantasy target as the wide receiver 1 for the Ravens.
I changed my answer to my last pick, Justin Ross.
This is why I asked you before round 18. Oh, hold up. Where are we at now? All right. We are up to 14.
14 on the counter. Racking them up. We're racking them up.
Racking them up.
I got to take a chance in the dark here. Do you guys think Leonard Fournette's going to get a new contract? I think he's going to get a contract.
Hey, man. He's got to get a contract, and this late in the game, that's not a bad pick.
No.
I think he gets a veterans minimum type contract, maybe like a 1-year rental deal, kind of like a prove it. Hey, we'll bring you on, but you gotta show me something, or you're gonna be sitting at home watching next year.
But where?
Yeah.
If Latavius Murray's getting contracts, I don't see how Leonard Fournette's not. You know what I mean?
Hey.
I actually want to change
Kansas City. Hey, why not? Why not? The Chiefs want every other free agent. You take him.
I don't want that at all. Isaiah Pacheco's why not?
I agree with you. I love Pacheco. I had him on my fantasy team last year. Added him late.
Did anybody else? Oh, sorry, my bad, man. Did anybody else get that sleeper fake out on Pacheco today? They're like, he's heading to the NFI list. He's not going to start the season. They're like, oh, just kidding. Maybe he's going to be put on that list. I was like,
yeah, no, I didn't hear that.
Giving me a heart attack right now, man.
We know about his surgery, so we know he's not going to be coming in swinging right away. But his week 1 availability has never been in doubt from my understanding.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to change my favorite pick of the draft to my 18th rounder, Noah Fant. I didn't want to say that. Dude finished as tight end 17 last year. I mean, getting him in the 18th round is pretty solid as a backup, especially. And I mean, those were his career lows. So, I mean,
yeah, I mean, defenses aren't going to be focused on him with those 3 wide receivers on the team. And I mean, they got a couple of stud running backs. So I could see him having a couple of those. Oh, shit, I'm up. All right, let's go. 4 seconds. We'll go Keontae Ingram since James Conner's an old man. He's going to be out in a couple of years. So, but yes, I do think he's got the athleticism. We all know that. And if he gets a couple of those breakaways, then he'll be good to go. I never touched on my favorite pick. I would say that out of all of my picks, I do like the upside in Sky Moore. I've talked about that in the past. I think that Sky Moore is a more complete route runner than Kadarius Toney is. Obviously, we all are looking for somebody to break out in the Kansas City wide receiver core. I do like him as a breakout candidate. But out of all of them, Evan, I know you'll agree with me on this. Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins is really going to shine this year. Yep. He offers a skill set that no other wide receiver on that team does. They have a bunch of slot wide receivers. Even Robert Woods is only about 6 foot and 30, 31 years old. So moving forward, I would love having this young stud wide receiver matched up with a young rookie quarterback to grow.
All right, and then pretty much the last pick of the draft, gonna take Carter. Gives me all of the Jets backfield, so I don't have to
I
worry
saw
about
that. You got Abanikanda and you got Brees Hall. That's a solid pick. So
Yeah, don't have
we
to worry
are
about
going to
that.
be pulling up these picks. I was talking to our CEO here. We are going to be putting this on Twitter. We're going to go head-to-head tournament style. So we're going to be I'm imagining the 1 and the 12, putting them against each other, keep on going until we have a winner of this mock draft. Should be a lot of fun. But I just wanted to thank Commissioner Cooper for coming on the show today. It's been a blast, man. And just a time to plug all your podcasts and what you got going on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me. A lot of fun. Love doing mock drafts. Check us out on Fantasy Sports Corporation on our YouTube channel. My show's TSS Fantasy. We'll be doing our normal routine, but what we like to do on our show is kind of make it a little fun because at the end of the day, we're all kind of just guessing, right? So basically, I have a fantasy Jesus on Sunday who blesses your fantasy rosters. I have a sophisticated Mr. Maller who gives you sophisticated fantasy pickups. I got a judge who will judge your guy if he should be on your roster or not. So we like to do a lot of SNL type stuff, skits and stuff, just to make it a little more entertaining for everyone. Plus, we got a sister show now. We got TSS Dynasty Hour. That's with Jagger, May, and Chuck Bass, and a couple other of our guys, Justin Herrera and Andrew LeDuc. And then we got a bunch of other great shows. So go check it out. Fantasy Sports Corporation. Follow us at tssfantasy.com. You can follow Fantasy Sports Corporation as well. If you do head over there, do us a solid, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. Of course, give a like and a comment. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So we appreciate you. And thank you guys for having me in.
Absolutely. All right. And Nolan, you got that upcoming podcast you're talking about, the Dallas Cowboys?
Yep. Primetime Cowboys are going to get that going. Again, you guys know the whole thing with StadiumRant. Keep checking out the articles. Check out the podcasts that are coming up. Check out the shows. Subscribe to that newsletter. We love seeing people sign up for that. That is great stuff. Follow me on socials. Follow me on Threads. I got that going now. Don't know what to do with Threads, but got it. Follow me on there and keep checking out StadiumRant stuff. I'm happy to be on here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Enjoy doing this with y'all. Then, Evan, you got to close it out with this fun fact. What do we got today?
All right, fun fact question. So I'll start with the hint. This player was typically drafted in the top 2 rounds of startup drafts. And he also got more touchdowns in one game in 2021 than he got all season in 2022 after playing more than half the seasons.
Interesting.
Christian
All right. Answer will be at the beginning of next show. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to tune in to Fifth Down Territory coming up right now. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace.